So Christian Bale plays Donald Trump, and I've shown you all the picture before where Trump and Bale posed with each other during the filming of The Dark Knight Rises, which was also Wayne Enterprises was headquartered at. They used Trump Tower in the movie. And so this is how they go about doing it. This is what they're showing you in plain sight. You'll pick up on it.
So I'll see you again.
So, there he is. And she thinks it's like some type of trick he did going down those stairs, and all of a sudden he's there. Like, she can't figure out how he did it. She's just enamored by it. And the way he did it was what? Well, there's two of them. That guy was already in there waiting. And the other guy walked her to the door. They're twins. One's a clone, and they're about to tell you that process. Now, at the beginning of the movie, the other magician tries to go, and he says, a colleague of mine, he's talking about Bale's character. He visits Tesla. He says, he made a machine for one of my colleagues. And this is the machine that's coming up. Now, Tesla, I think, is a made-up character in their world. And if you just Google simple research, Donald Trump's uncle knew Tesla, they tell you that. And of course, it's all part of the psychological operation. That's Christian Bale, by the way. It's bad lighting. So now they're going back to when he's in jail, you know. Like they showed you when he met his wife. Now he's in jail. Now they're going to show you the machine that Tesla made to clone the twin, which we've told you when he goes down, it'll be a clone because that's what they've actually shown you in this movie. Now, it could just be a simple twin or body double, but very doubtful. Remember, they said they cloned a sheep, which are God's chosen people, in 1995. Well, you can bet they've been cloning way before that, and way more than sheep. I mean, the Ghost in the Machine album came out in 1981, and when did they come out with admitting, or when did they come out and say they had artificial intelligence? When the Police had an album in 1981 titled Ghost in the Machine. So, the Ghost in the Machine, which is AI, fallen angels in the technology, demons, entities in the technology, and they actually tell you that. I produced that video for y'all. If you want it, just ask for it. But the ghost has probably been in the machine for many, many, many decades. Watch their explanation. You just went from seeing the two twins, or the human and the clone.
What's in there?
And now they're going to explain how he was made.
Machine. You built this, Mr. Cutter?
Oh no, sir, this wasn't built by a magician. This was built by a wizard.
This wasn't built by a magician, or an engineer, who was, collaborated with a magician. He said this was built by a wizard. In other words, somebody connecting with the spirit world. Get it? A wizard, sorcerer.
A man who can actually do what magicians pretend to do.
I want to make sure you catch that.
You built this, Mr. Cutter?
Oh no, sir, this wasn't built by a magician. This was built by a wizard. A man who can actually do what magicians pretend to do.
Magicians pretend to make things appear. This was built by a man who can actually do it. Literally do it. When magicians just pretend to do it. So you understand what he's telling you. See, the fallen angel entities have taught man, probably the first time they were able to invent a speaker, let's just say, back in the turn of the century, whenever, 1900s, 1910, 1915, I don't know. When was the speaker invented? At that point, because you could channel demons, of course, through a seance type, Ouija board type scenario, and figure out the gifts of how to, build a speaker, let's say. Then once the speaker's built through the conjuring process, the entities would then speak through the speaker. Once they could speak through the speaker, communicate with man, at that point they taught man how to create basically the whole industrial age, if not simply at least technology.
Tell me, Your Honour, what happens with these things after the trial?
They've been sold to Lord Caldlow, an avid collector apparently very interested in the case.
Don't let him take this.
Why ever not?
It's too dangerous.
I'm sure beneath its bells and whistles, it's got a simple and disappointing trick.
Most disappointing of all, sir.
It has no trick.
Nothing.
And whistles, it's got a simple and disappointing trick.
Most disappointing of all, sir. It has no trick. It's real.
It's real. Which is exactly those videos I produce when they tell you about AI. They tell you the computer is real. It's alive. And he's telling you the exact same thing right here.
This is the tank Andrea drowned in?
Anyway,